gathered in Vienna to protest U.S. immigration enforcement and calls for war in Venezuela. Kim Van Ryn said over 100 people showed up to support the protest. Our Allison Powers spoke with a few of the protesters in Vienna.
A crowd stretched along Grand Central Avenue this afternoon as the Indivisible chapter of the Mid-Ohio Valley protest what they call abusive immigration enforcement and a possible U.S. intervention in Venezuela. Organizers say more than 100 people showed up for the protest. Protester Caroline Martin said everyone should be worried about the country.
What started out as a protest that was scheduled for, protesting what had gone on in Venezuela, kind of turned to two different subjects with what happened in Minneapolis over the past few days.
The protest started as no war for oil, but this week's death of Renee Good changed the message. Protester Lori Phyllis said the incidents are connected. People's rights are being violated at home and abroad.
We absolutely disagree with the murder of fishermen who are also here today because of the action that took place in Minneapolis, the murder of a young woman for absolutely no reason. We thought that it was despicable and also that it's frightening because it could happen anywhere to anyone.
And ICE committed murder in Minneapolis, plain and simple. The human rights abuses that are going on, and frankly the murder that is going on, must stop, and it must stop now.
Protesters of many ages said they felt devastated and alarmed. Veterans and longtime activists warned the crowd that unchecked policies can escalate into broader abuses of power. Others spoke of faith and civic duty as reasons they were attending the protests.
We don't live in a police state, and that's what it seems like we're in now. A woman was murdered this week, and the least I can do is go stand up and show that that's not okay.
In Vienna, this is Allison Powers with WTAP News.
Relay for Life of Wood County made their first ceremonial lap